I came out with all of my cleanup stuff to finally get the gold out of the high banker concentrates, only to find out that my pump is stuffed. It wasn't last time I used it, it is now, but that's giving me an opportunity.
And as the old saying goes, when your pump flogs out, you'll probably come out with a kind of mildly better idea.
You see, when I created this little impromptu dry pan, I didn't have any intention of ever coming out to a creek to use it to dig wet pay dirt. I just wanted to use a pan that could efficiently catch gold with no water. But looking at it, surely this thing could catch gold in a creek, right? That's really inconvenient timing.
The noise you're hearing belongs to a kookaburra. That's its distinctive laugh. It's part of the kingfisher family, and they are absolute savages. Not only will they happily eat the Australian spiders that everyone else is so terrified of, they'll emotionally damage you at the most inconvenient of times.
This is my high banker hole from yesterday. There's still really good gold here. Pick off my Australian safety boots. Now, I don't even have a shovel with me today, so I'm just going to use my meat scoops. That'll work. Well, it's fast. I don't know if it's efficient, but it's fast. Let's put my work boots back on because I think there's a shovel in the car. Oh. Would you just look at that? Oh. Take off your safety boots, Chris. It's too hard to move around in them. In theory, this makes sense. We're not panning in a traditional manner. We're just trying to stratify all the material that's heavy into the actual matting itself. And it's kind of like a sluice cross pan. That seems like enough. So as long as we get everything stratified and we get rid of the big rocks, the friction from all the mesh and the carpet should sink the black sand and stuff down nice and deep. And we should be able to just like repeat the process. Oh yeah, we got a little bit of clay in that. The idea here is not to use it as a sluice or anything. We're just relying on the mesh creating enough friction, slow down and capture some of the black sand and gold, which will then sink into the carpet here. So what I might do is maybe 10 pans. I've already done 2. That'll be 20 shovels worth. And then we'll clean the mat out and just have a look at what we got. Well, that was a mass. That is a massive chunk of tourmaline. Holy crap. That's the biggest piece of tourmaline I've ever found.
Because I'm an idiot and I was wearing sunglasses,
Try and show it to you.
I hadn't realised this was actually a piece of smoky quartz.
That's see-through. That is absolutely see-through. Straight to the boob pocket. Anyway, back to doing what I was doing. Just keep everything liquid and then sort of shunt everything forward. The gold has got nowhere to go but down.
After only a couple of pans, it became apparent that this was a very fast method of processing a fair amount of material quite quickly. If I could make some improvements on this design, we might be on a winner.
I'm seeing little pieces of black sand and stuff starting to accumulate. You got to remember, we're not working amazing amounts of soil here, so I'm not expecting to see heaps. And it's certainly not going to work like a sluice box where we get to see an amazing amount of gold and black sand accumulating in the riffles. I'm shaking it around and moving it. It's not going to be collected in the same way, but it seems to be working. There is a surefire way of knowing though. I'm currently doing 2 shovels per pan. This is a 2 shovel pan. So let me see how much gold is in 2 shovels. There's not too much black sand in 2 of those small shovels. And we are getting a few flakes of gold in there. Again, we're talking really small shovels. I can count at least 4 little pieces in my pan at the moment. And that's one of the biggest flakes there. I'm going to sink my pan down to the bottom. 2 shovels in. Then pan this out over the top of my other pan, and then I'll pan the tailings off and see how much loss we got. All right. And the results are nothing. Hey! Obviously there could have been absolutely no gold in that pan, but we've got barely any black sand. Not a single speck of gold in there anywhere. And that means that if there was gold in that, it retained it.
With those encouraging and clearly extremely scientific results, I was enthusiastically setting about panning the rest of my 20 shovels.
That is 10 pans all finished up.
And with my well-honed, clearly expert eye, this mat looked pretty damn good to me. There was all the telltale signs that there'd be gold.
Got my cleanup pan over there. I've got a non-Witten nut bolt underneath here, just to make things interesting. 20 shovel run. Don't know how much we're going to see, if any. There's a fair amount of black sand in that carpet. With that amount of black sand, and I know that there's gold in here, we've caught gold for sure, without a shadow of a doubt. 20 little shovels, maybe like 50 little pieces, tiny little specks, I reckon. It's not going to be a bonanza city, that's for sure, but it's got, I can see one piece of gold there, but there should be something in there for that little bit of work. Yeah, we got gold. Ha 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 ha. For a small little run, we only moved a tiny amount of dirt and it's catching real fine gold. That is not a bad result for the tiny amount of dirt that I worked. I tell you what, if you could scale that pan up,
if you could make that pan 50% wider, 50% longer, and twice as deep, you could move some serious dirt with it. You couldn't use it for general prospecting because it's designed for processing and you can't see the gold until you're finished. But if you were in an area that you couldn't use a sluice box, that was really quick. So size-wise, if it was big enough, it would be a viable option. And I've been in the position where I've used a lot of different pans, like the Best Damn pan, the Gold Claw pans. They've got their good points, they've got their bad points, just like this. But that was definitely the fastest, and it showed a 0% loss. I mean, only one test pan, so you can't take too much from it. But my point in saying that is that I'm not going to go and commercialize this in any way. Just watch the video I've linked below to see how I made it. You can make your own. And if you would like to buy me a beer about it, I've left a bunch of links in the description below that go directly back into supporting the channel so I can make more crazy crap like that and get my pump fixed.